I am Aury White, director of PopoBawa. The PopoBawa is a Tanzanian mystical creature. I want to say it came into folklore around the 1990s. In terms of context in culture, from what I've read and the research I've done, it pops up around election times in a sort of way to distract the masses from whichever political candidate they might be voting for. With that, what the creature does in folklore is, if you hear its name, then it will come into your house at night and it will beat you up, it will assault you and tell you, hey, go and spread my name to other people, in order to also invade their lives and do the same thing to them. When I had first learned about the creature, I was looking into making a horror film for Radiant Cinema, and my mind almost instantaneously went to Africa, in the African diaspora, because I was like, I've never seen, cinematically at least, like African creatures, I feel like. And that's when I found out about the PopoBawa, and so I was like really attached to the idea of a selfish creature, a creature who wants its name to be heard, who wants more people to know about it, so then that way it can invade people's lives. Kind of like how rumors are. If you hear a rumor, you spread the rumor has power. And so with that, my next choice in storytelling was like, what if I put this in the lens of a college? And so the first thing I kind of thought of was WCRD and the radio show. I last year co-directed a film that also took place in a Radio Shack. The idea of like, what if you were to hear this creature's name over the radio, and what does that look like? What are the people that are there? From there, I kind of started putting pieces together. It's a big puzzle that was laid out in front of me, that I started to look at each one of the individual pieces and kind of piece together of, okay, so we're at the radio show. Obviously, there needs to be someone who's talking on the radio show. So dope, we have a radio show host. What does this host talk about? If it's just music, then what's the reason for him to talk about, scary creatures at all? So then the idea of, okay, what if he was telling scary stories on the radio for like late night viewers, anything like that? Then the idea came of, okay, now maybe he has a writer, maybe he is the writer, maybe I separate those characters, which I ended up doing. Now I have a timid radio show writer who wants to host, who has this goal of, I want to be on this show, I want to be the one talking to the microphone. You have a radio show host who in a way is kind of reflective of the PopoBawa, in the fact that he's a little selfish and that he's more centered around himself. With these two pieces, I was like, okay, now I think I have a way for the PopoBawa to come in and invade their lives. And so in terms of characters, obviously we are in a Midwestern college town, so maybe in another world I would have told this story in Africa, but I think with what we have now, I think I had all of the pieces that were right in order to cast maybe the appropriate people. Quinn Paulonis, he plays Sean. Sean is our timid radio show writer. He believes that he has no power in this world, and thus he kind of lets people step on him. Quinn is a phenomenal actor. He'll get to set and we'll have a fun time, be joking around, but then when it comes time for those like real important scenes, he gets right into it, and that's something I'm more than appreciative of. Henry Muma, he plays Mikey. Mikey is our radio show host, the one that's more quote-unquote, I'll say quote-unquote self-centered, more self-serving, and he's the one that, he has the good voice for radio, just like Henry has a really good voice for radio. But yeah, Mikey has a really good voice, and he is the verbal storyteller that we hear at the beginning of the film and throughout. And so Henry is also a phenomenal actor. He's one that constantly will bring up questions to me, that wants to get a deeper understanding of the work that we're doing and what each one of these scenes looks like and the motivations behind every single line. And working with those two has been an amazing joy. Sophia Raton, she plays Alex. Alex is Sean's friend that encourages him throughout the film. To me, she's like the guiding light of, yes, Sean is weak, but only because of his own choices and inactions. And so Sophia, again, is an actor that, will come to set, will have fun, but then she'll get straight into it when need be. It wasn't easy to approach each one of the actors. Instead, it was different approaching each one of them. With Quinn, it was more so about, what are the beats of each scene? Is there any specific moment within a scene in which, like, he should give more, he should give less? Quinn, in a way, is very much akin to the character of Sean, so it wasn't hard at all for him to, get into character, and he didn't have to do anything fancy or special with that. With Henry, it was more so we sat down and we would have talks for hours about, okay, what about this line? I would always pose questions to all of my actors when we would sit down and read scenes, saying like, what do you think about this scene? What moment sticks out to you? Do you have any questions or concerns about a scene? With Henry, we would sit down and analyze the text and really come to a mutual understanding about, okay, this line delivery means this line delivery means that. There's this little nuance here. Similar thing to Quinn. Sophia was also kind of the same way with Quinn, of like, okay, we have all the beats of a scene. She also too was very akin to Alex, so there wasn't any sort of, I don't think there was a struggle on her part to touch base with that character. There's just differences in the way in which you talk to each actor. I think it's about learning what their specific processes might be and kind of applying that to the work that you're doing with them. This is my first time working with actors from the Department of Theater. Okay. Normally when I would make a film, it was, hey, a couple of my friends, my roommates, let's come on out and let's shoot this quick thing that I wrote yesterday. The biggest difference with this is I'm now sitting down with people that are crafted in the skill of analyzing a text and with getting into character and kind of seeing the nuances in their performances compared to, hey, read a couple lines off the script. The biggest challenge that I faced that I learned from was over-explaining or over-directing. I am a huge verbal communicator. I like to lay out my ideas via my words. A lot of the time I found myself working out things in my head through my mouth instead of working out in my head, condensing it, and then saying it. So sometimes I would find myself word vomiting at my actors, even at my crew. It's okay to take that, 30 seconds, a minute of silence is better than 10 minutes of me talking. And I think that's something I hopefully am getting better at, something I'm still learning. But I think that this experience has helped bring that to light with me, and that I know for sure that's something I'm going to take with me with my next film. PopoBawa, coming to you July 2026.